Hello, 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 everybody. Hi. So it's How to Tuesday. What? So, twists and bends. We're going to learn all about that. Basically, adding the highlights and the shadowing to make something look curvy, or if it's twisting, all of that fun stuff. So say hello if you're practicing with me tonight. Let me know if anyone's practicing with you. Of course, we have to give props to you know who. Say hi, Butters. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Yes, he's a good boy. Saying hi to your fans. Yeah, of course you are. You're too cute. All right, let me show you your handy dandy table going on here. So I got all sorts of brushes up. I'll let you know what I'm using when I'm using it. We have our water, we have our paints. I poured the same colors every single party. We have white, yellow, red, blue, and a black. When you clean your brushes, you want to swirl them in the water, tap them, and dab them with a paper towel. You want them to be wet but not dripping. So, as I said before, tonight is a practice session. So, 6,000%. Ask me any questions you may have. We're going to be practicing and learning to make your creations that much better. So I'm going to put you in a handy dandy holder. We're going to get some names written down. Tina B is here. Hello, sweetheart. And we'll get this thing started. So get out your mixed media paper, get out your piece of cardboard, get out whatever you need to get out. And let's practice some twists and bends. Oh, yeah. It's all good stuff. So getting you guys ready for Friday's party, because they're twists and bends in Medusa's snakes. So I want to make sure that you guys got this down. Once I show you, it's not as difficult as you think it is. The most difficult thing is blending the colors together. So that's what that's the hardest thing, is getting the blend. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. So, of course, I got my Java. So I'll give you guys a second to set up. We'll get everything all ready. Ready spaghetti. Tina B's hanging out with me tonight. We got all sorts of fam hanging out with us tonight. So we are good to go. All right. So for Friday's painting, you noticed we have all of these like little curlicue things going on. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do that, and I also want to show you how to do like a bend, like if you're, hi Tina M. So if you're doing like a, I don't know, say a ribbon, or maybe a bend. Oh, we can do a bend in a road. That'll work too. Okay, so I'm swirl tap dabbing big boy. He's a 1-inch flat, and let's turn around. And I'm not going to paint a whole picture tonight, guys, because I really don't know how to paint a picture and have all the twists and bends I want to show you. So we're just going to do this. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to start off with some white paint, and we're going to go into some red. Okay, and Carolyn is here. Oh, yeah. All right, so I'm going to turn around, and we're just going to go straight across, and then I'm going to put a little bump in it, and straight across that way. Okay, so how do you get this bump to look more realistic, right? That is the question of the hour. Hello, Tina M. Hello, Carolyn. How you guys doing? Right, so that is the question of the hour. How do we get the bumps and the twists and everything else? Sharon is here. Hi, Sharon. How you doing? To look more realistic. Okay, so what you first got to do is light's going to be hitting this, right? So I'm going to make it so the light is hitting on this top part here and on this part, and then this is our bend right in there. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some more white paint. I'm going to grab some more white paint, and I'm going to turn around, and right on this curvy part right there, I'm going to turn around and put the white paint. Okay, just like that. All right, so grab some more white paint so you can see that better. So right where that bend is, I'm going to put this white paint right there. Okay, right there. All right, and then you're going to turn around and let me get out Mini-Me. Let's see if I can find him in my cup. All right, so we got Mini-Me over here. Let's roll, tap, dab him. And I just want to soften this up. So we're just going to soften that up just a little, you know, just on the edges there. That's it. So all I did was take Mini-Me and move him back and forth. That's all I did. All right, and now I'm going to turn around and let's put Big Boy in the water here. Let's do this with Mini-Me. So now I need this part to be the darkest. So I'm going to grab just the red paint now, and I'm going to come in here and put, of course I didn't stay in my line, but I'm going to put a dark area, which is right in here. Okay, now what you want to do is I'm going to wipe off my brush. I'm going to wipe off my brush and bring you up closer here. Close up. What you want to do is where these two look disconnected, you're just going to do a little zigzag zoom in between the two of them. That's it. Just a small little zigzag zoom in between the two of them. See that? And you're going to soften that out. And then I'm going to wipe off my brush and I'm going to come up here and I'm going to soften this part out right here. I'm going to soften that part out right there. And that's it, guys. Hello, 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 Kim. See, it is that simple to be able to do this. So all you need to practice is that blending part. Putting the colors in isn't that difficult. All right, so then I would continue on and I would grab just the red paint and I'd come in here and make this part all darker, right? So I'm just going back and forth. So I'm making this part darker all the way down. All right, wipe off my brush and I'm going to turn around and I'm just going to make this part of the ribbon lighter. So I'm going to grab some more white with that red and we're going to come in here and we're just going to make this side lighter, right? Bring it back over that edge a little bit, and that's it, guys. So that is the extent of making a bend look like a bend. That's as easy as it gets. So I'm going to swirl tap that Big Boy and let's do a couple more of those. Let's do a couple of more of those, right? So that is something that's flat though. So it is flat. Hello, 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 Sharon. Sharon snuck in there. Oh, I think I said, hi, Sharon. Hi, Kim. I wrote Sharon down already. So that's something that is flat, right? So say you have something that is round, that's doing the same thing, right? Say you, I don't know, say you're painting a pipe. I don't know, whatever you guys paint. Who knows what you guys are painting? Hello, 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 Lynn. How you doing? All right. So say you guys are painting something that's round that has a bend to it. All right. So this is how we're going to do this. I'm going to grab blue. And I'm going to grab that dirty white that I had with the red. All right. So say we have like a pipe or something. I don't know. Something's going on, right? So it's coming straight down. And then it's kind of bending out this way and then going down. Okay. So I'm grabbing blue. And I'm grabbing white. And let's put this base on here. Now, the thing is also is you have to make sure that your paint stays wet, because if your paint's not wet, this gets really difficult. So you kind of have to move a little quick to get this done. Now, I'm not going to move that fast because I want to make sure you guys can all practice along. So I'll we'll see how it goes. I might have to fix the fact that my paint's not wet. So the first thing you want to do, Hi, Christine. How you doing, sweetheart? So the first thing you want to do is make this look like a round object. Now, we did this in like 3D when I did my how-to on 3D stuff. But I'll show you again. So I'm going to swirl, tap, dab my mini-me again. And I'm going to grab my white paint. Right? It's kind of dirty white because it has the blue in it. And I'm going to come into the center of this object and put the white paint. Okay, so I'm coming into the center and I'm putting the white paint in the center. So you want to do this all the way down. All right, putting this white paint in here. Okay, so I'm not going completely to the edge. I'm not going to completely to the edge, because what you want to do is when you want to stuff look rounded, you have to turn around and the sides stay dark. So I'll bring it on in here, and I am going to zigzag zoom between the two and soften this all out. So basically I am just going in between the light and the dark and just moving my brush back and forth. Now I have my paint. It's not super thin on here, but it's not all globs either. So, now, sometimes you do this and you just blend it way too much and the whole piece looks like it's the same color. That's okay. That's all right. It'll happen. Okay, so you just, you know, sometimes we lose our darks, sometimes we lose our whites. It's all good. It's all good how that happens. All right, so I'm not going to grab black, but I'm going to grab red. Because red, there's the butters. Red will make this dark too. So I'm going to come in here on the sides with the red paint. So I'm coming here on the sides with the red paint. Okay, see how that made that darker? See, a very noisy truck just is parking across the street. So Mr. Butters has to let us all know that that is happening right now. He's letting us all know that that's happening. So, I'm going to wipe off my brush. I'm going to wipe off my brush, and then I'm just going to turn around and soften. Again, see how I'm just moving my brush back and forth? We're zigzag zooming, guys. That's all we're doing. We're zigzag zooming. So now, this looks... right? So, see, now this is looking more and more round. So, now I'm going to turn around and grab my white paint again. I'm going to grab some of that white paint again. It's dirty white. And I'm going right down the center of this. Right down the center. Okay, wipe off my brush, and I'm just going to zigzag zoom again. That's all I'm doing to blend it out. So it was a little bit of white paint. And I blended it. So, see how this is looking more like a round object compared to this, which is very flat. So, you can tell the difference. Now, now that we have this looking like a round object, now we could turn around and paint the bend in it. Alright, so you guys take a second to check that out. So, this is obviously a flat. Something that's flat, and now this is something that's round. Hi, Diane. How you doing, sweetheart? So, you guys can tell the difference just by doing... Now, Mini-Me, you guys have me using I use Mini-Me a lot. Every time I say a lot, I think of a lot. I use Mini-Me a lot. Mini-Me, if you guys didn't get my brush set, you have no idea. I do mention it, but Mini-Me is actually Hi, Eve. Hi, Eve. That's me. Hi, Tammy. Oh, my goodness. I just said hi to myself. All right. Hi, Tammy. So, Mini-Me is actually called a shader brush. So, Carolyn, Butter sent my cat Brandy some sort of message to jump up and look out the window. That's awesome, Carolyn. So, Mini-Me is actually a shader brush. It's called a shader brush, and this is what he's for. So, 6,000%. If you didn't order my... That is awesome, Carolyn. If you didn't order my brush sets, and you didn't get your very own Mini-Me, you might want to look into investing into a small shader brush, because that's what he's for, and you don't want to ruin your small round brushes, right? You don't want to ruin those doing the same thing. So I suggest you guys get something like that for yourself. Okay, so now we're going to turn around and put the bend in here. So I'm going to turn around, and now I'm going to put the bend to where this part is sticking out. Okay. Yes, Tammy, you got them. Nice. Awesome. Yes, and somebody else just ordered a brush set from me. So every single video, guys, every single video since the beginning, all of my videos on YouTube, I use the same exact equipment. The how-to, sometimes I'll use something different because somebody wants to see something, but all of the paint parties is the same set of brushes. So, I'm going to put the bend right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my white paint, and I'm going to grab some of that blue, because this is not completely wet anymore. Oop, too much blue. Got to grab some more white. I got too much blue on there because this isn't completely wet anymore. So right there is where I'm going to put the bend. Okay? Right there. So this is actually coming towards you. Okay, now I'm going to wipe off my brush, and I'm going to just go back and forth with this to smooth it out. Now, my paint's dry, a little bit dry, but that's okay, because I can still smooth this out. And even on the top, just smooth it out. That's all you got to do, is just smooth it out, just like that. All right? See that? Okay, now I lost my dark on my edges, but this is a lighter shade, so I'm going to grab just blue, and I'm going to come back in here, right? Wipe off my brush, and I had to put the blue back on, because blue back on. Wow, I said that correctly too, because my paint dried. So I had to put the blue back on. All right, now I'm going to grab some more white. So sometimes you have to finesse it, and I did this on purpose so you could see, believe it or not. Sometimes you have to finesse it a little bit if your paint dries, which means you might have to repeat the same steps over and over. But I'd rather you guys build the paint up to get the desired effect, and then turn around and put globs of paint on your canvas and then wind up with a mess. Okay, so there is the bend towards it. So now right before it, I'm going to put the dark part. So I'm grabbing my red with that blue, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make this dark. So this part of the pipe is going to be darker. Okay, I'm going to wipe off my brush, and I'm just going to, now this is all dry, so this isn't going to do anything. All I'm doing is thinning out my paint so it's not a mess. Okay, And I have to turn around and put the lighter blue in the middle. So I got to put the lighter blue back in. Alright, so we're going to put the lighter blue back in. Alright, zigzag zoom to the sides. And right here, I'm wiping off my brush right in this spot right there. See that spot right there? This is to this, to this. Okay, you're just going to go back and forth to soften it a bit. That's all you're going to do. Okay, that's all you're going to do. So now you have your pipe having a bend in it. So I'm going to turn around and put some more dark on the edges so it looks more round. Okay, I'm going to wipe off my brush. If you notice, I do everything with the smallest amount of paint possible. Like I said, I want to build it up little by little because you could always put more paint on. It's harder to take it off. And I want to turn around and put that highlight back in this part right here too. Oh, I used a big word, highlight. Yeah, it just means making it lighter in a spot. That's all. It's where the light's hitting it. That's where the light's hitting it. Okay, so now you have something more 3D that is bending. See how that's flat? That's more 3D. So, give anybody who's practicing along with me a chance to catch up mustard. Like I said, the trickiest part is that blending. But honestly, if you have a brush like Mini Me, you could also use your flat brush. Let me show you how to do it with a flat brush. Let's do it with a flat brush, okay? So, Mini Me is a flat brush. He's really small, but he's called a shader brush. I'm going to use a brush that's actually called a flat brush. Now, brand new Mini Me's are nice because they've got this nice long bristles and edges on it. Some of my Mini Me's are really beat up. So, which is my own fault. Because I either start, like this one's kind of beat up because I'm rubbing like crazy with it, or I'm not cleaning it right away. So, you know, I'm just as much as fault of damaging my brushes. So, Lynn is here, Tina B, Tina M, Carolyn, Sharon, Kim, Diane, and Tammy all hanging out with us tonight. It's awesome, right, guys? Okay, so let's say something is like this and then like this, right? It has two of them in there, okay? So, let's do something that has like two bumps. So, I'm going to swirl, tap, dab, big boy here. And I don't know why I put the yellow on my palette, because I'm probably not going to use it tonight, because you're not going to see anything if I use yellow paint. So let's do it with, so you can really see this, I'm going to do it with gray. Alright, so I'm grabbing black and I'm grabbing that dirty white that had the blue in it. Okay, so what do you do first, right? You just draw whatever you're drawing. Alright, say it has a bump there and a bump there though. Okay, has two bumps. Two bumps. Two bumps. What are we going to do? It's got two bumps in it. Okay, so let me actually paint this on with some paint here. Okay, and you guys are going to get to a point where you're going to be able to do this like real quick like. Okay, so, and then you don't have to worry about your paint drying. You can make green with it to use it. There you go, Tina B. You're so good. I'm telling you. Alright, so what am I going to do? I'm going to grab my white paint and I'm going to put the white on here. And I'm going to put the white on there. Okay? And I'm just going to very lightly go back and forth between the two. Very lightly. very lightly. Okay, now I'm going to grab some more white. Like I said, it's better to add more paint than to have to take paint off. Okay, so I'm going to go very lightly, add more white paint. You have your moments few and far in between. You have them closer than you think. Okay, so I'm basically just going to pull across here and then touch onto that, and then I'm going to pull across here, touch onto that, pull across here, right? But I'm going very lightly with my brush. So let's put Big Boy away, and I want to take out a 1/2 inch. He's just like Big Boy, except he's smaller, all right? Because Big Boy has so much paint in him, I can't, I'm losing what I'm doing. So we're going to grab the 1/2 inch because he's clean, number one. Number two, he's easier to work with. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my black. So let me get close up, close up. All right, so, right, close up. There we go. All right, so now I'm grabbing just black. And I'm going to come in here. And this part is going to be really dark. Okay, that part's going to be really dark. And then this is going to be dark over here. Okay, so, and this is a little darker, a little darker. Notice I didn't grab any more paint, so I'm not putting as much paint on. Now I'm going to wipe my brush off, and I'm just going to zigzag zoom like this. Just go back and forth between your two colors, that's all. Right? And then in here, I'm going to zigzag zoom. Right? Just soften that out. Just soften it out. That's all. Just going back and forth. Back and forth. That's it. Okay? And then over here, same thing. Zigzag zoom a little bit. Alright? Just go back and forth. Right? If you zigzag zoom and it blends all out on you, then you could always grab more paint. Alright, we'll wipe off my brush. And I want this to be really, really dark, so I'm going to grab more black. I'm going to grab more black, and I'm going to put it right in the middle. Small amounts of paint, guys. Very small. Look, hardly any paint on my brush. And now I'm going to flip my brush over to do the zigzag zoom, because all my paint's on the other side. So I'm going to zigzag zoom now in between this. Alright, I'm going to wipe off my brush, and I'm going to grab my white paint now. And we're going to sweep that in on the top of here. And we're going to sweep that in on the top of here. Wipe my brush off. And just soften. Go in between the two. Just go in between the two. That's all you need to do. And you could do a little pull like this too if you want to. You can do like a little pull. Okay, and then soften over here. So, the hardest part of this is probably doing the blend. That's it. But like I said, if you're doing your blend, now I'm touching super, 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 super soft. If you're doing your blend and you lose some of what you had before, it's okay. Because you could always add it back in. Alright, you could always add it back in. So I can grab some more black paint and I can add it in over here. And do back and forth between the two. Back and forth. Very light, light, light touch. Very light. Okay, and I can grab some more black, tiny little bit. Small amounts of paint, guys. Hardly any paint on this brush. Hardly any paint. Right? Just go back and forth like that. So that would be having 2 bumps in it. Okay? So you just make the center part really, really, really dark in between the two. And the only tricky thing is you have less space to soften and blend that out. You have less space to soften and blend that out. So that's the tricky part of doing something that has two bends in it, because in here you don't have as much room to play. All right, but if you see, all I did was go back and forth. You can kind of see the back and forth movement in there, and that's it. So the trickiest part, like I said, is having this, doing the blend. Okay, and like I said before, if you're doing the blend and you lose it, you lose your dark or you lose your light because you had too much paint going on, it's all right, because you could always put some more, right? Less is more. I'd rather you use less paint and build it than turn around and use a ton of paint. All right, guys? Woo! All right. So next thing I want to show you is a twist. All right, so say you have, I don't know, say it's a piece of confetti. Say you have some confetti. All right, swirl tap dab my brush, clean it all off. Okay, and like Tina B said, we can make green, so let's make green. Why not? Let's make green. Okay, and also remember, guys, you don't have to use black to make something darker. See, I used red. A ribbon. Yes, Cynthia. Absolutely. So, I used red to make my blue darker. Okay? I just used more red to make this darker. You don't always have to grab black to make something darker. Remember that. Remember that when you're painting. Okay? Sometimes you can just make a darker color, like purple. Plurple. Oh, yeah. All my videos are kid-friendly. You guys know the shtick, right? I'm going to watch this thing. You guys watch the comments. But purple is darker than blue. All right, so I'm going to grab some yellow. And I'm going to grab some blue. Right? And I'm going to mash this together. Let's throw a little bit of white in there. All right, let's make some green. Okay, so we're going to do a twist. 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 All right, so a twist. Okay, so let me make that bigger. All right, so I'm going to fix this twist now. So make it a little bit bigger, because I don't know why I'm going to paint tiny when I'm trying to show you something. I'm using my 1/2 inch right now to do this. So let's make this a bigger twist so you can see what I'm talking about. That would make sense, Eve. That would make a lot of sense. Another thing you want to remember is, as you're doing a twist, okay, this part is going to be fatter than this part back here. Okay, so the piece in front is going to be fatter than the piece looping around. So as you loop it around, you want to make it skinnier as you loop it around. Okay, see the width of this? See how wide this piece is? And then this piece looping around is skinnier. Okay, so that's what you want to do. All right, and let's see, then I'm coming this way. And I'm going to make this nice and fat. And then bring it around in here. Okay, so, and out. Right, Gracie? Yes, Flintstones. I remember that episode. That was hysterical. Little Fred with his toes pointing out, doing the twist. Also, you have the Monster Mash when he goes, whatever happened to the Transylvania twist. Alright, so kind of made this squished in here, but that's okay. Alright, so bring it on out. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick where it's going to be bright. Alright, so I'm going to pick right here. It'll be bright. So I'm going to grab my white paint. And I'm going to come in here and add my white paint. All right, I'm going to add my white paint right there. And I'm going to add my white paint over on this piece. Okay, wipe off my brush. It was a graveyard smash. Yep, you guys got that, right? Now I'm just going to go back and forth right there. And I'm going to go back and forth right here. Now, I had a big glob of white on there, and that's what happens, right? So now it's kind of going further than I want it to, but that's okay. It's okay. I'm going to go back and forth right here. I'm going to go back and forth up here. Okay, and here. Let's do some back and forth action. Okay, so now I'm just going to build on top of this, right? Because we're using small amounts of paint. We're using small amounts of paint, and we're just going to build on top of this. Okay, so I'm going to take this green that I made, and I'm going to add more blue to it. Because that's going to make it darker, right? I said you don't always necessarily have to grab black. Okay, so if this is twisting around, right in here is going to be the dark spot. Okay, so I'm going to put the blue with the green right there. Right there. Okay, and I'm going to put the blue with the green on this one right in here. Okay, now on the inside of this twist, you can turn around and do the darker on like the inside part coming around. Okay, so this is making it look more 3D, more like a pipe than a ribbon. When you put the darker coming around on the edge of this, now it's looking more 3D than a ribbon. All right, same thing over here. If I do the darker on the edge of this, if I do the darker on the edge of this. Okay, put the darker up here, put some darker in here, some darker in here. All right, I'll wipe off my brush, and I'm just going to go back and forth. Back and forth. Even right here, right? Just smush that around. Smush that around. Back and forth in here. Now, am I losing some of my light? Absolutely. Am I worried about it? No. You tried to wipe the little mark I made, this mark right here, off your phone screen? That's awesome. All right, so now I'm going to grab my white. And, you know, I'm going to grab some yellow, right? So the same thing with making things lighter. You don't always have to grab white. You can grab the lighter of the color. That's hysterical. Right? So I'm going to grab a yellow, right? And I'm going to come back in. And I'm going to put my lighter colors back in again. Okay? And back and forth. Back and forth. Back and forth with it. Back and forth with it. And I'm just going to keep building. That's all I'm going to do is keep building. So, I kind of went ahead of myself. I showed you how to make it look 3D instead of just flat. But we're going to do another one of these. So I'll go into that in more detail. Right? So now I'm grabbing my dark again. Grabbing my dark. And I'm just sweeping with a very light touch with this. So it blends into that lighter part. You don't have to turn around and you can just kind of lightly sweep as you're putting it on, and that works to blend it too, right? So a very light sweep with the brush, because since I have hardly any paint on my brush, I can do the light sweep instead. So you don't necessarily have to turn around and like put it on and then come in and blend. If you do this little light sweep, and what I'm talking about is just very light touch, guys. Very light, like this. See? And see how there's hardly any paint on my brush? So that's how I'm able to get away with just doing this little sweep. A very, very, very light touch. Okay? So, I'm going to show this to you in, I'm going to show this to you in black and white. So you can see everything that much better. And I'm going to make my twist a little bit better so it's not so squishy. Okay? So, if you guys have any questions, 6,000% ask me. This is going to be a short how-to tonight, guys. Because literally, it is the same concept doing the same thing. So, it's basically, let me show you how to do the blend without necessarily doing it on anything. Because that is the trickiest part, is doing the blend. Alright, so let me grab Big Boy. And this is with all shading. This is with all shading. Okay, guys? So, you want to keep that in mind. So, let me grab red paint. Alright, so I'm putting straight red on here with Big Boy. Whoop, there's some skins. We got some skins. Alright, so here's some red paint. Okay, now, I want to make this darker to lighter. Alright, so I'm going to grab some white paint. And I'm going to come over here. I'm going to add the white paint. Now, as I'm adding this, there's less and less paint on my brush. And I could do a little wipe, right? Just wipe it off. See? So, in between here, what you want to do is you just want to go in between the two colors and very lightly just sweep. See? Very lightly just sweep in between the two and it'll blend it together. And you could also, if this was like where we had a zigzag zoom, you could zigzag zoom these two together. Okay? So, and now I want to do the dark, so I'm going to grab some blue. Come over here, and I'm going to sweep on the dark. Now, I'm going to take the excess paint off of my brush. I'm just going to wipe it. Right? I'm not cleaning it. I'm just wiping it. And then I'm going to literally go in between the two of these and just sweep back and forth. And the more you do this, the more it's going to blend. Now I'm going to wipe my brush off. And if it's a small space, you want to do that zigzag zoom. So you just do the zigzag zoom. And go from the dark into the lighter, into the lighter, into the darker, right? Do a few sweeps. Go into my red. Go into my blue. Go into my red. And you're going to get a nice blended line. Okay, guys? So that's how you blend the two together. I know this was twists and curls and stuff like that, but honestly, the hardest part is blending. When you add shadowing of any kind, the hardest part is blending. So if you guys can get those techniques down, either it's a soft swipe, or you can do the zigzag zoom action, which works too. It depends on what space you're working in. You know what I mean? You might not have enough room to do a swoosh. A little swoosh. So you want to turn around and do a little bit of the back and forth with a smaller brush. It really, really, really doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to turn the canvas so we can do a nice spiral. I'm going to show you. Plurple! Yes, I made purple. 6,000%. So we're going to do a nice spiral right here. And I'm going to try to draw it this time to where it's not squishy. And I'm going to show you how to do it when it's flat. And then I'm going to show you how to, with it being a 3D piece. Okay? Because the ones on Friday, our 3D pieces. Okay? So, I'm going to turn around and let's grab Big Boy. Swirl tap that Big Boy. And I'm going to do it in black and white so you can really see the difference of everything. So I'm going to grab my white, which is really dirty, but that's okay, because I'm mixing it with black. And I'm going to grab my black, and we're going to turn around and start up here. Come down and around. Twist it in. All right, now when you twist it in, like I said, this part should be a little thicker. You want to follow where that goes in and then come out the other side. Okay, and I'm doing it again. I'm not leaving enough space. So let me go down here. So you want to make sure you're following through. Okay, and now I'm going to come down this way. And I'm going to cover up my screw up right there. All right. And I'm just grabbing more paint, guys. Come out the other end. Right, line it up. This part's a little bit, see how it looks weird when you don't have the outside one thicker? See how this is thicker and that's thinner? It don't look right. You have to make the outside part thicker. You have to make this outside line thicker. Okay, so that way it looks right. All right, so and I'm just cleaning it. And what you want to do is exactly what I did, so you don't get confused on what's going on. Hi, artists! So you don't want to get confused with what's going on. Your brush strokes, right? Notice I did my brush strokes, right? This is on the outside, so I made sure my brush strokes are showing that's on the outside. This is going underneath. Now this is on the outside, so I'm going to do my brush strokes so I know that that's the piece on the outside. And that's the piece twisting underneath it, okay? So when you do your brush strokes, you want to make sure you can tell what's going on. So you don't get confused on what pieces are going where. All right? So make sure that when you paint this, now, notice how I jumped over, right? I jumped over and had it meet up. Could I have painted it straight through? Absolutely. But now, this piece is over that piece. You see that? This piece winds up being over that piece. Which you can do. We can do that. Let's do that. Why not? I'll show you how to do that. So your brush strokes show which pieces are where. Okay? So, oh, thank you so much, Amanda. That was very sweet of you. Hi, sweetheart. Hello. I have no idea where my pen went to write you guys down. Let me see if I can find another pen real quick. Because we have, Amanda is here now. And we have artists here now. And somebody else popped on before. Thank you so much for the stars, Amanda. Gracie is here. Cynthia is here. I want to make sure I get y'all. Okay, so your brush strokes show who is over who, like who's on top of what. So this way you don't get confused. Okay, so make sure you do your brush strokes so you know which is on top of where. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So, swirl tap dab my brush, get all the excess paint out of them. Okay, so now my light's going to hit on the parts that are out front. Right, so I'm going to grab my white paint, and this part's out front. Right. Hi, Lisa. okay? This part's going to be coming out front. This piece is out front. This is going to have some light on it because it's a bend. Okay, this piece up here. So anywhere that is out front or on the piece of the bend is where you want to add, because you're probably like, how do you know where to put those lighter pieces? So any piece that's out front, right? Any piece that is on top, okay, that's underneath, that's on top. And any piece that's bending, right in the bend is where you want to put the lighter pieces. Okay, I'm wiping off my brush, and I'm just going to go back and forth with this to smooth it all out. So now I'm just going back and forth with this to smooth it all out. Okay, and I'm going to try not to lose my dark areas. If I do, that's okay. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, so I'm going to smooth that all out. Soften it all up. Now, you don't have to have it completely soft. If you like the drastic changeover, that's fine too. Now I'm going to grab more. Now I'm going to grab black, and I'm going to come into my dark areas, right? So my dark areas are the pieces that are going under. Okay, and it's going to be dark right here because that's going under. Right? So that's how you know which parts are darker, right? The pieces that are going under. Say this piece right here is folding down, so we can put some dark right on there. And now I'm just going to soften that out because there's hardly any paint on my brush, and I can do a little wipe, right? Because when your paper towel is wet and you do a little wipe because your paper towel gets wet from cleaning your brush off, and you do a little wipe, you're taking all that excess paint off of it. See, I didn't clean it, but there's like no paint on here, right? And now I'm just going to go back and forth, little zigzag zoom, little zigzag zoom between the light and the dark. Little zigzag zoom action between the light and the dark to soften it. Okay, so now if I want to get it to be more drastic, I'm going to grab some more white now. Like I said, we're going to build. Okay, now where the light areas go, right? I just showed you that goes on the bend. And it goes on whatever's up top. Okay? And we made a bend right there. Alright, so now you know where your lighter areas go. I'm going to wipe off my brush on my wet paper towel. And I'm just going to go back and forth. I'm going to go back and forth to soften this all out. So, like I said, the trickiest part, and notice how I'm moving my brush. I'm following along the shape, right? I'm following those brush strokes. I'm following along the shape. I'm not turning around and going opposite of my brush strokes. I'm not doing this. Okay, I'm following along the shape. Follow along your shape. Okay? And we're just going to soften this all out. So I'm doing a little zigzag zoom. I'm doing some dabbing. I'm doing all of that fun stuff. Okay, so that's if it was flat, right? It's a flat piece of material, a ribbon or curly Q or confetti or whatever you want. Now, to make this look like a 3D, like our pipe, remember our pipe from before? And we made that look 3D, I have to darken my edges. So, how do I know where to put the dark? Okay, so if this is curling around, it's going to be dark on the inside of this curl. Right? So that's where I want to put my dark. right there on the inside of that curl. And you can do a little dark, small amount on the outside. Notice how much thicker that piece is. Now I'm going to wipe off my brush, and I'm just going to soften this into the rest. Now, if I lose my light, if I lose this, it's okay. I can put it back in. And I want to soften over here on this edge. All right, so that's how you would make it look like a 3D piece instead of flat. See how this looks more like it's rounded now? And this looks very flat. Can you guys tell the difference? All right, this is something that's like a tube. It's a tube. And this is just flat, okay? So that's the difference. So that's how you do it, all right? So let's do it up here, okay? So I want to make this look more like a tube. So inside here is going to be dark, right? Because how's light going to get in there if something's folding over it, right? So we're going to do this piece dark, and then a little bit on the outer edge. All right, we'll wipe off my brush, and I'm going to soften. Now, I had a lot of paint on here, so I'm going to have to add the white back on. I could already tell. All right, and that's okay. So I'll just grab my my white paint, and I'll put this part back in. I'll put this part back in. Pretty cool, right? And you guys, I don't know where that blue paint just came from. It's on my paper towel. All right, so now I'm just going to soften. So I'm just dabbing, I'm just going back and forth, doing a little zigzag zoom, okay, all that good stuff. And now you have it looking 3D, okay? And then say right here, right? So we do right here, since this is bending around, it's going to be dark right there. So I'm going to turn around and put my dark piece, black paint, little bits, put my dark piece right there. I'm going to wipe off my brush, and I'm going to soften this in. Now my light is darker. This is already dry. So as I soften this in, I'm going to have to grab some more white paint because that was already dry. So I'm just going to grab some more white paint, wipe off my brush, and then just soften between the two. Alright, now I softened and I lost my dark spot. Okay, so I'm going to grab more black paint. So sometimes you got to play. Sometimes you got to go back and forth. I go back and forth with my lights and darks. I'll grab dark paint, then I'll grab light paint, and then I'll grab dark paint again. I play that way. Some people like to put all the light in and then the dark. That's okay too. Everybody has their own little way they do things. I play going back and forth between the two. That's just the way I roll. I mean, you guys can, you know, you'll find your way. It's all good. So now, this little piece right here is being stubborn. I keep going from losing my dark to my light, going to my dark and to my light again. So, and I just missed my water cup too. And I got dog hair all over my brush. Good old butter strikes again. Let's wipe that off. Alright guys. So, everybody, Lynn, Tina B, Tina M, Carolyn, Sharon, Kim, Diane, Tammy, Amanda, Artist, Gracie, Cynthia, thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you have any questions, 6,000%, ask me now. It is always free to watch. Amanda hit some stars for me. Thank you so much. Tips are appreciated. I also have Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App. Those links are on the event page. So I really appreciate it. Like I said, I hope you guys have fun practicing this. It is not that hard. You will definitely get it. It's something every single one of you can do. I totally believe that you can do this. Okay? So it's just a matter of, you know, and if you got to practice doing your blends like we did over here, then practice that. Then you'll get to a point where you can do it on curly cues or ribbons or pipe or whatever you want to do as a twist. So what? Twisting. Do the twist. Twist, twist. So I know you guys totally have this going on. And Friday is Monsters Valentine. So you guys are going to take all of these skills that you learned tonight, right? Here's some blending. Here's some blending. Here's our twists. You guys are going to take all those skills that you learned tonight and be able to use them on Friday. After that, the Friday after that is our heart garden, our rainbow heart garden. And then the Friday after that, yes, our Valentine's nosy gnome. Oh yeah, he's so cute. So we're going to be doing nosy gnome. All right. And then after Valentine's Day, we have our star catcher. Okay, so that's after Valentine's Day. That's the Friday after. So all the events are posted. Definitely hit going on the event. That way you get the notifications of me posting. You know, the time I'm going to go live. You guys can see the supplies. You'll get all of your questions answered. And right, Amanda? So pretty. So pretty. So we are going to be doing all of that in the weeks to come. And then I'm going to go on to St. Patrick's Day paintings. And I have a few ideas we're going to be doing. So we're going to take care of all of that too. 6,000%. You guys got this. It's not that hard. You got it. Trust me. I know you can do it. You can do it. I know you can. And if you go onto YouTube, it's easier to find my videos on YouTube. If you go on the YouTube channel, there's a how-to. Should be on YouTube. It might not be on YouTube yet, but I do 3D objects. 3D objects is all about shading and highlighting. So if you want to learn more about that, you have to find the video that's 3D objects. If you go on my page and go to videos, you can do a search 3D objects, and you would find the video. I'm not sure if it's on YouTube yet. I'd have to ask my sister. So, short and sweet tonight, guys. You guys can totally do this. And next Tuesday's how-to, I'm not really sure, because there's nothing in that Friday painting that I haven't already showed you. So next Tuesday's how-to. You're so welcome, Tina B. You're welcome, Amanda. Thank you so much for joining me. So after Friday, the Tuesday following, I don't know. We'll see what our how-to is going to be, because there's nothing in that Friday's painting that you don't already know. So we'll see how that goes. I'll think of something. Thank you so much, everybody. You guys are awesome. If you ever have any questions, absolutely message me. You can totally message me. Good night, Lisa V. So, 6,000% message me if you ever have any questions. I will definitely answer you. Most assuredly, I will answer you. And artists, I will get your brushes out to you, I promise. And Tammy, I'm glad you're enjoying your brushes. Anybody who wants a brush set, just message me. You're so welcome, Carolyn. Thank you so much. You guys all have a great night. Thank you for joining me tonight. Okay, so with that, I'm going to say goodnight. Right, y'all warm my heart and have fun and go create. Okay, night, everybody.